I said, baby girl, I'm going to have to take your credit card away from you now, and you're going to have to stop paying for your own gas. And she goes, what? I have to pay for my own gas? I'm going to have to sell my clothes. I said, what? She says, I'm going to be bankrupt. I said, that's all your expenses you have is your gas. Where do you guys see oil going in the next, let's say, 3 months? Because, I mean, we've got struggles, of course, with the Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine war. We have struggles, of course, Biden trying to make decisions of how he wants to handle the oil crisis, and him looking outside the U.S. as an option instead of looking inside the U.S. as an option. What do you guys think that the price of oil is going to be in the next 3 months from now, based on some technical setups? Because obviously, fundamentals, we can't decide on that.
$150 a barrel in a year from now would not surprise me.
Yeah. I actually have a target at 148.
Yeah, it would not be good. People will not like that. You know, I saw Dan Bilzerian. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He tweeted something about it cost him $1 million to fill up his plane. Rich people don't like expensive gas, and poor people don't like expensive gas. So it is a really good indicator to me of like what would parallel a recession. So if oil goes to 150 and stocks continue to look bare, in my opinion, we're knocking on the doors of a recession right now. So what happens during recessions? Commodities go up, stocks go down. So gold, silver, oil, palladium, platinum, corn, soybeans, everything is going to continue, in my opinion, to go higher. The problem that we're facing, and this would be its own podcast in itself, this is like the topic of the year. It's like we have an unresponsible Fed at the head of the ship. They are captaining this ship. And it's just a matter of, does our Fed right now with Jerome Powell at the head want to be the one that stops kicking the can down the road? Because if you look at like, and I'm not a big Peter Schiff guy, but Peter Schiff has said many times, and I do agree with this, he's like, you can keep doing what we're doing, creating monetary theory as we roll, creating money as we need, and printing and all this. And it's bad, but it keeps all of us functioning. Like I got food in my fridge, we're all okay. What could be worse is to stop kicking the can down the road and see what happens then. So who wants that responsibility? So I think it's just very, it's probably more of that than someone coming in and being like, hey, man, we spent responsibly. We printed too much. We got to rebalance everything. We're firing a bunch of people. We're restructuring. That's probably not going to happen. So I think you're going to see things. Would it be called hyperinflation when you start to see like parabolic moves in some of these commodities, right? Maybe. I think that's on the table at least right now. What do you think, Ray?
Yep.
No, I definitely agree on that. And I was actually just reading another post that kind of correlates to, you know, the times we're in. Just like you said, like some people are still fortunate enough to be able to, you know, pay for their gas and pay for their living expenses. But I just read something that said over 64% of people have less than $1,000 in America, you know, in their savings account. So I definitely think, like you said, we're on the verge of a recession because, you know, when things get hyperinflated, as we see the prices of oil, food, I mean, I think even like, I think cars were up like 30% for used cars.
Higher than that.
Which insane though, right? So it's like, we can definitely see that a lot of people are going to get priced out, but also a lot of people are going to, you know, start, I guess, defaulting on their mortgages and different things like that, which is also going to cause the economy to crash. So I'm looking at all kinds of things right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm smiling right now because we're talking about gas, and it brought up a conversation I had with my daughter. She's 25 years old. She just qualified. She's just completed her studies now. She's a registered nurse, and she's working for a good hospital as a registered nurse. And awesome. I just told her, because she's now, I was supporting her while she was studying, and I just told her just the other day, I said, baby girl, I'm going to have to take your credit card away from you now, and you're going to have to stop paying for your own gas. And she goes, what? I have to pay for my own gas? I'm going to have to sell my clothes. I said, what? She says, I'm going to be bankrupt. I said, that's all your expenses you have is your gas. It's crazy. You know, it's the rising gas prices, and she's seeing that at the pump when she fills up now. It used to be like $30. Now she's paying $50. She's like, I'm going to have to sell my clothes. So it's just
so yeah.
It's
I would say that the 150 per barrel is on the table, especially again, not to be political, but there is power with the U.S. government where Biden could do things to control the rising gas prices, and he's not. He did release a large reserve of oil. I think that was last week or the week before. So some steps, but I think there's other things that could be done to try to control this. So I think there's deep political motives when it comes to the price of oil. What have we gone to war with? Every other country, like what has America tried to conquer for? Oil. If we're not fighting over religion, we're fighting over oil and money for natural resources. So oil is a very politically driven commodity. Whereas if you look at palladium, I would say you could trade palladium and not really worry about politics as much because it's not a political commodity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think you have this
Very
underlying
true.
current going on here where the Saudi Arabian government is involved, the crown prince, whatever, he's in, like all these different players go into how oil is priced. And that just kind of feeds like the overall idea, like oil at 150, the fact that gold is under 2000 blows my mind. I actually think I'm living in a dream. Every day I wake up and gold isn't $3,000. I'm like, why? What is going on? You know, I think that there's a lot of other motives that go into, or a lot of other factors that go into pricing some of these commodities, especially gold, especially oil, because they're politically driven.